2025, the director of Resident Evil returns to the big screen with Milla Jovovich, joined by the powerhouse Dave Bautista. Together, this star-studded cast brings George R.R. Martin's sci-fi epic to life, delivering a magical post-apocalyptic legend.
If you've got the time and the stomach for it, Dale, I've got a story for you.
The world you once knew has been consumed by war, and now only the lost lands remain, crawling with lurking, twisted creatures. All surviving humans have taken refuge in a single city, but no one knows yet that a mysterious witch named Gray Alys is about to change the fate of the lost lands. At this moment, she's nothing more than an unfortunate soul sentenced to hang by the high priest for defying the church. High Priest Ash kicks the wooden box from beneath her feet and leaves with his men, assigning one enforcer to finish the job. Gray locks her icy blue eyes onto him, and the enforcer is instantly bewitched by her sorcery, hallucinating that he himself is hanging in midair, panicking as he draws his gun to shoot the rope. By the time he regains his senses, Gray is already gone. Hearing the gunshot, Ash rushes back with her men to hunt Gray down. Amid the dark maze-like buildings, Gray moved like a phantom, assassinating the enforcer, and then strung Ash up on a horse rope, leaving her to die. Gray then calmly walks away through the crowd with no one daring to stop her. They call her the Unhanged Witch, and it is said that if you are willing to pay the price, you can buy anything you desire from her. Word of this quickly spreads across the land, even reaching the Queen. The Queen comes in person to strike a deal with Gray, seeking the power to change her form and transcend human limits. Gray, true to her reputation, agrees and promises to hire a hunter to find a shapeshifter and transfer its powers to the Queen. This promise will be fulfilled on the night of the full moon, which is 6 days away. Shapeshifters, being non-human, can only be found in the Lost Lands. But before Gray can set out, Captain of the Guard Gerace offers her a family heirloom pocket watch as payment, asking her to refuse the Queen's request. Gerace believes that the power the Queen seeks will ultimately destroy her. Gray's principle is to always grant requests, so she accepts Gerace's watch and promises to fulfill his wish. After Gerace leaves, Gray closes her eyes to search for the shapeshifter's whereabouts. In her visions, it is revealed that on the full moon night, he transforms into a werewolf with strength far beyond that of any human. This is exactly the power the Queen craves, tired of serving her paralyzed old lord and yearning for respect from all. Arrogant and disdainful of the common folk, the Queen secretly loves the hunter Boyce, and they maintain an illicit relationship. One day, Gray finds Boyce in a tavern, hoping to hire him as a guide to the Lost Lands. Boyce replies, "I'm just here to play cards, not talk business." So Gray joins the table and effortlessly defeats him in the game. Trying to outsmart a witch? You're asking for trouble. Gray wagers all her winnings and again proposes hiring Boyce as a guide. Boyce, known for taking money without asking questions, still warns her. Beyond the city walls, there are no human laws, not even natural ones. Out there, whoever you are in the city doesn't matter. You'll only get in my way, Gray responds. Then let's make a deal. If I do hold you back, you can leave me behind, and I will do the same to you. With Gray making her point so clear, Boyce no longer refused. Besides, he had indeed heard of the shapeshifter Gray was after. Everyone called him Gray Wolf Sardor. Sardor lives in a place called Skull River. Just then, men from the church burst in. Gray and Boyce turn their backs to avoid trouble, but an overzealous zealot fires at them, prompting Boyce to fling a two-headed viper, which instantly strangles the attacker. One small snake sends the crowd into a panic, and with a look of disdain, Ash slices the viper into 3 pieces. Meanwhile, Gray and Boyce seize the chaos to slip away. This shows that this church is nothing like what we usually know. In the city below the mountain, no one dares defy the church. The church claims it upholds peace through law, instilling fear in the faithless and standing as the last defense against the evils of the lost lands. Over the years, Patriarch Johann has relentlessly hunted criminals, heretics, and witches with bounties for those captured. They eradicate dissent and oppress the people, branding any opposing voices as cults. Now, the Unhanged Witch Gray has become a symbol of resistance, and Patriarch Johann will not let such a heretic go unpunished. At this moment, Ash captures Gray's servant for questioning, and through this, learns that Gerace and the Queen had met with Gray not long ago. If the Queen is indeed consorting with heretics, her downfall is imminent. Patriarch Johann orders that the witch must be forced to confess before her execution, so they can use her to bring down the Queen. The scene shifts back to Gray. They camp outside the city, sleeping on the ground by a bonfire, when a shadow slowly approaches the sleeping Gray. The moment Boyce raises his blade, Gray counters with a dagger at his throat. Smart men kill their clients on the road to claim their payment early. But Boyce has no such intent. He was only trying to stab the scorpion on the ground. Another day closer to the full moon, they ride swiftly from the city outskirts to a trade post. This is Ross's territory, and both he and his sister Mara are friends of Boyce. The siblings warmly welcome Boyce and Gray with food and drink. Skull River is at least a week's journey away, but Gray doesn't have that much time. They aim to reach it before the full moon, and the only way is to take the railway tunnel through the mountains. This route is dangerous, but it will save them 1 or 2 days. At this moment, Mara can't resist flirting with Boyce. She spent most of her time at the trading post, and every time Boyce visited, they would inevitably share some intimacy. Boyce, ever the rogue, never refuses such advances. Early the next morning, Boyce and Gray bid farewell to Ross and Mara and set out again. The trade post is the last friendly ground. Beyond lies barren wasteland. Meanwhile, Ash is speeding toward the trade post with her men by train. Hearing of this, the Queen storms in to confront Patriarch Johann, who authorized them to leave the mountain city. Patriarch Johann replies with hidden meaning. Gray is a wanted heretic. Using sorcery is a capital crime. The witch and her allies will not escape justice. His words are clearly a warning to the Queen, and of course, she understands it. But maintaining her royal composure, the Queen responds, "The unrest among the common folk grows by the day, and with the Lord gravely ill and unable to govern, now you've sent a large force of enforcers outside the city. Are you trying to leave us vulnerable on both fronts?" Patriarch Johann replies, "The city is indeed rife with danger. With the Lord gravely ill and losing his grip on power, acts of rebellion are breaking out everywhere." Patriarch Johann reminds the Queen that while these may be rumors, even among commoners, such lies carry great power. In truth, Patriarch Johann has no regard for the Queen. The Lord is dying, without an heir. Soon, great upheaval will come to the city, and a new ruler will rise. Patriarch Johann has no intention of giving up that seat. Meanwhile, Ash arrives at the trade post and brutally tortures Ross and Mara, demanding to know Gray and Boyce's whereabouts and their purpose. Unable to watch her brother suffer, Mara confesses they are heading to Skull River. Little does she know, Ash is ruthless. Even if you talk, you won't escape death. Ash orders the trade post burned and leads the pursuit toward Skull River. Now, only 3 days remain before the full moon. Gray and Boyce reach a place called the Great Rift. Boyce guides her into an abandoned station where an old cable car waits. The owner, Cyrus, offers rides across the Great Rift for a single gold coin. But Boyce calls out for him several times with no reply. Carefully, he checks the back room, only to find Cyrus's body hanging from the ceiling. Clearly, someone got here first. As Gray and Boyce step outside, they are surrounded by the enforcers. To shield themselves from Gray's magic, they all wear oversized toad-eye goggles. Ash demands Boyce surrender. Gray, do this, and you'll be spared. But Boyce is a principled bounty hunter. He would never betray his employer. Just then, he notices Ash has also brought a barely breathing Mara. Since Boyce won't cooperate, Ash coldly shoots Mara dead. With such cruelty, how dare they call themselves servants of God? Furious, Boyce draws his gun and opens fire. Gray slides in and seizes an enforcer's weapon. Battle erupts instantly. The enforcers surge forward, shielding Ash with their bodies, sacrificing themselves to block Boyce's bullets. With their overwhelming numbers, Gray decides not to waste time. She grabs Boyce and flees. Dodging explosives, they leap onto the cable car. Boyce shoots the anchor ropes, sending the cable car gliding across the Great Rift. The enforcers leap after them, swarming the cable car roof and fighting their way inside. Boyce and Gray struggle fiercely, tossing the enforcers out one by one. They battle from inside the cable car to the rooftop. Enforcer bodies plunge into the abyss like falling leaves. Seeing the tide turn, Ash orders her men to cut the cable. The cable car tilts sharply as one of the ropes is severed. Ash then fires her gun to snap the second cable, but the force sends the cable car hurtling toward the opposite cliff. With the cables fraying fast, Gray clings to the rock face and climbs up, but Boyce is still trapped inside the cable car. By now, half of the cables have already snapped. Boyce clutches a rock outcropping as the cable car plummets into the depths below. Ash grabs a sniper rifle, takes aim, and shoots Boyce. Then she trains her sights on Gray. But Gray's enchanted gaze pierces across the vast distance, straight through the sniper scope, striking Ash's mind. Ash blinks in discomfort. By the time she recovers, Gray and Boyce have vanished without a trace. Although Boyce was shot, the wound wasn't fatal. They found a place to rest for a while. Boyce bit down on a stick and dug out the bullet, while Gray used a fishhook to stitch up the wound. Meanwhile, back in the mountain city, the Queen learned that she was pregnant. This child clearly had nothing to do with the Lord, and was most likely Boyce's. The Queen had no intention of hiding the child's lineage. Now that she carried an heir, the old lord was no longer necessary. She gripped his throat tightly until the lord stopped struggling. Then she got out of bed, rang the bell to announce the lord's death. At the same time, Gray and Boyce had reached Shadow's Bane. Behind them came the roar of an approaching train. With no time to spare before nightfall, they ventured into the mountains. After dark, demons would roam these lands. Gray and Boyce chose a high platform as a defensive position, pouring gasoline around them, for fire was the only thing demons feared. As darkness fell, the lights within the tower flickered on. Gray and Boyce readied their weapons and lighters, staying alert. Soon, demons, drawn by the scent of humans, began creeping closer. Boyce quickly ignited the gasoline, surrounding them in a ring of fire. But the outer demons showed intelligence. They tossed iron plates onto the flames, building a bridge to cross. Boyce kicked a barrel of gasoline toward them, then shot it, tearing open the metal. The splashing fuel exploded instantly, taking several demons with it. Boyce was thrown to the ground by the blast, and a demon lunged at him. At the critical moment, Gray swung her curved blade, using the momentum to step onto the demon's back. Unexpectedly, the demon's head could rotate 360 degrees, but Gray reacted quickly and dodged. Seizing the moment, Boyce scrambled to his feet and hurled the demon straight onto a protruding iron rod. But even impaled, the creature didn't die. Without hesitation, Gray flung her dagger, piercing the oil barrel. The bursting fuel triggered another massive explosion, blasting both Gray and Boyce off their feet. Then the demon leader leapt down from above, landing beside Gray. Gray locked eyes with the demon leader, forcing it to release its grip. The demon leader hadn't expected Gray's power to be so great and ordered its minions to capture her. But in that moment, Gray unleashed a surge of energy, burning the demon leader to a crisp. A pillar of fire shot skyward, forming a towering mushroom cloud. Boyce rushed to support the weakened Gray. Her powerful attack had drained her energy. Boyce noticed that the demon leader seemed to recognize Gray, so he asked her what was really going on. Gray explained, "Long ago, I once stayed in the Lost Lands. This place hides great treasure. A man, desperate for power, had heard the rumors that I could grant anyone's desires. So he came to me, seeking strength. That man was the demon leader you just saw. This terrifying place turns men into monsters." Gray and Boyce rested together, spending the second to last night. Tomorrow would bring the full moon. Meanwhile, the queen had risen to power as ruler, and until the heir came of age, she held the highest authority over the land. Patriarch Johann dared not oppose her openly, but fumed in secret. He ordered Ash to capture Gray as soon as possible and force her to reveal the queen. Elsewhere, Gray and Boyce arrived at the Land of Fire. True to its name, flames burned everywhere. If they kept moving forward, they would reach Skull River by tomorrow. Gray didn't want to drag Boyce into further danger. She handed him the promised payment and suggested he leave. But after all they'd been through, Boyce couldn't bear to watch Gray walk to her death. He begged her to return to the city with him, yet granting any request was Gray's curse. She couldn't defy this commandment. With no choice, Boyce followed Gray onward. They traveled through the night, nearly reaching Skull River when Gray noticed the ground trembling. It could only mean Ash's train was approaching. To avoid complications, Gray decided to settle this threat once and for all. She deliberately stood on the tracks to draw attention. Ash, seeing this, ordered full speed ahead, intending to run Gray down. But as the train burst from the tunnel, Ash realized too late that the tracks were broken ahead. Gray leapt into the air, and Boyce caught her from beneath the tracks while the train plunged into the abyss, shattering to pieces. Seeing Ash fail her mission, Patriarch Johann realized force was now his only path to seize power. He ordered his guards to rally, but Gerais suddenly appeared, killing Johann's men. It turned out Gerais had been following the Queen's secret orders, eliminating Johann's personal guard. Gerais drove his blade into Patriarch Johann, declaring in the Lord's name that Patriarch Johann was sentenced to death. They stabbed Johann to death, fully securing the Queen's rule. But the danger wasn't over. Her ambitions were far from satisfied. Meanwhile, Gray successfully reached Skull River. The place was littered with corpses. Countless challengers had fallen to the great wolf Sardor. Gray put on several silver weapons. Beside her, Boyce couldn't help but warn, "Others have tried using silver against Sardor before, but it didn't work. Those brave, silver-armed warriors are now nothing but bones in Skull River." But Gray refused to listen. The arrow was already on the bowstring. There was no turning back. Gray charged into the cold, white moonlight, but Sardor did not appear. Behind her, Boyce's breathing grew uneven. He was clearly affected by the full moon. Only then did Gray realize Boyce was the werewolf. He had been lying to her the entire journey. Boyce let out a painful roar and transformed into a werewolf. Gray gripped her silver weapons and attacked, but the werewolf's thick hide made close combat useless. Gray quickly switched to her best skill, illusion. Boyce was bewitched. He saw a giant black hawk, dropped to all fours, and chased after it, only to be slashed by Gray's silver claws in the very next moment. The monstrous bird had only been an illusion to mislead him. Gray pressed the attack, but just then, clouds covered the moon, and Boyce reverted to human form. Gray bound him up. Though Boyce had never intended to harm Gray, fate had no mercy. Remember how Gray had foreseen the shapeshifter's identity before the journey began? She had known all along that Boyce was the werewolf. That's why she deliberately approached him, pretending to need a guide. Days ago, when Boyce was shot, Gray had secretly sewn a silver coin into his wound. Earlier, Gray had deliberately slashed that spot with her silver claws, causing silver venom to seep into Boyce's bloodstream. Now, he no longer had the strength to fight back. Gray drew her silver blade, ready to strike, when Boyce suddenly pleaded for a deal. And hadn't Gray said it before? She could not refuse a request.
What do you wish for, boys?
What you?
As Gray hesitated, the night breeze slowly parted the clouds. Under the clear moonlight, Boyce transformed again. Gray snapped back to focus and drove her blade into his chest. Hours later, sunlight bathed Skull River. Gray buried Boyce's body and hurried back to the mountain city. The workers cheered when they saw her, hoping the Unhanged Witch would lead them to overthrow the church and win their freedom. Gray carried the wolf pelt into the palace and handed it to George. Have the queen cut herself and stain the wolf pelt with her blood. Then wear it, and she will gain the shapeshifter's power. Tonight is the last day of this moon cycle. If she doesn't act now, it will be too late. George asked, "Didn't you promise to stop the queen from gaining this power? Since you broke your word, you must return my family heirloom." But Gray replied, "You already have the queen's favor, and I killed her beloved Boyce, removing the obstacle between you. The pocket watch is mine now." Hearing this, George allowed Gray to leave and went to report to the queen. But when the queen heard of Boyce's death, her mind shattered. She had longed for shapeshifter powers only to be with Boyce. Now that her beloved was dead, the furious queen stabbed George to death, his blood soaking the wolf pelt. Meanwhile, news of the witch's return from the Lost Lands ignited the workers' rebellious spirit. They stormed the palace, assassinating the lord and rising up. As flames consumed the wolf pelt, its ashes drifted back to Skull River, reviving Boyce. The first thing he did after awakening was to seek out Gray. But Gray had foreseen it all. She knew Boyce wouldn't die. In the end, she had fulfilled her promise to the queen by retrieving the wolf pelt. She had satisfied George's wish by preventing the queen from gaining shapeshifter powers. And she had granted Boyce's wish, spoken on the night of the full moon, that he and Gray could be together. Now, Gray stood right here. If Boyce still wanted her, they could be together forever. Everything had unfolded exactly as Gray planned. And with that, the film comes to an end.